Hey everybody, happy Thursday here. Bobby Klink from Your Online Genius. Wanted to come to you to talk about something that you may not like to hear, but that every online entrepreneur needs to hear and needs to actually kind of internalize. And that's that you have to take responsibility for the legal stuff yourself. You can't just say, I'm going to outsource it. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not going to tell you that you have to handle all the stuff forever throughout your career, but you've got to take some personal responsibility. And to help drive the point home, I'm going to kind of use an analogy. And actually, I'm going to start with a conversation that I was having in a Facebook group with entrepreneurs. I think it was yesterday, and yesterday or the day before, but someone started complaining about a marketing consultant that they had hired, that they were working with, who suggested something to them, and then this entrepreneur said something back, and then it was clear that this marketing consultant didn't really understand what was going on. And that actually rang true to me because I had something similar happen to me sometime in the past. I don't remember exactly when, but someone who was in a Facebook group with me, a relatively small one, who was an active member, and people had seemed to like this guy. He reached out and offered, said, hey, that he would like to take a look at my opt-in pages or take a look at my stuff and give me suggestions. And I said, sure. He was going to do it for free, so why not? So he did, and then we get on a Zoom call or Skype call, I don't remember which, and he's sharing a screen going through, and he's looking at a landing page, an opt-in landing page, and he starts saying things like, well, you should really have your menu here. I don't know why you don't have your menu here like you have on all your other pages, and things like that I was like, wait, what? And I didn't say anything to him, but I knew enough to know that that was just wrong. I had to know enough to know that that was wrong, or I would have followed his advice. And I knew it because I had learned enough about online marketing to know those basic things. Like, hey, on an opt-in page, you want one action. The only action is click yes or no. Yeah, I want the thing. And that's it. And I understood that, but for some reason this guy didn't. But it brought me to start thinking about something more broadly. And actually, I was having a conversation earlier today with my Facebook ads management company. And I'm having these discussions and talking about things like ad frequency and things like that you wouldn't know, or I wouldn't know unless I had taken the time to learn these things, to get my hands dirty and to try it myself to learn all these different things. Well, that same kind of getting your hands dirty, you have to take that same approach with your legal stuff. Now, again, in the long term, hopefully you're not going to be doing your legal stuff. But you have to know enough for a couple of things. Number one, you have to know enough to be able to spot whether the person you're talking to knows what the heck they're talking about. Okay, so that's kind of standard one. You need to be able to spot a lawyer who maybe knows what they're talking about versus who doesn't. And an example of that, I had someone who told me this story that they went to a business lawyer. And again, it was an online entrepreneur who wanted to start offering a class to teach people how to create a certain kind of business. Not a business that was dangerous, not anything out of the ordinary. So again, a pretty standard online marketing or online business type of business model. And this entrepreneur went to a couple of different business lawyers, and they said, well, you can't do that. The liability would be through the roof. Well, she was smart enough because she had been an online entrepreneur and had been doing this long enough to know, wait a minute, this is what everybody does. And so, she came to me, and again, that was the point. She was able to spot that these people probably didn't know what they were talking about. So that's kind of the first level. You've got to be able to spot the lawyers who don't know what they're talking about. And again, I'm going to tell you, just like anything else, lawyers are kind of specialized. We're not allowed to say we're specialists or specialized, but there are things that we do, and we generally should stay in our silo. For example, my dad wants me to look at trust and estate stuff all the time. I say, I don't know anything about that. You really should not come to me. I can't help you. You're talking to me. I know literally nothing more than the guy on the street about this area of law. Well, the same thing in what you're doing. So you need to find lawyers who know what you're doing. But the second and bigger point, and the reason why you have to get your hands dirty and take some personal responsibility on this, is because, quite honestly, even if you get to the point of having a lawyer, you're not going to have the lawyer with you 24/7. And that means you're going to be going about your day, implementing things in your business, doing all of these different things, building your amazing business without a lawyer there. So you're going to have to know enough to do what we lawyers call issue spot. You have to be able to see something and say, this is an issue that I need to think about from a legal perspective, or I need to research, or if you have a lawyer, I need to go talk to my lawyer about. But you're not going to be able to spot those issues and know those issues unless you've taken the time to learn about the legal issues that you face as an entrepreneur. And so you have to get to that level of proficiency. And let me give you some quick thoughts on this. When you're on social media, you need to have things where, you're kind of, a flag goes up in your mind and you say, wait, this may be an intellectual property. This may be a copyright issue I should think about. And so you need to know those things while you're engaged in social media, when you're writing things, and all of those types of issues. You have to at least be aware that there's a potential issue. Once you get to that point and you're aware there's a potential issue, you can do the research yourself or go talk to a lawyer, whatever you want to do. But you've got to get that base level of understanding so that you can even know there's something you need to be taking a look at. And so that's the second and kind of more important reason, in my view, about why you have to just get some knowledge on this. Because until you get to that point, until you take the time to actually understand enough about the law to know what issues you face, you'll never be able to be safe and to actually know that you're not making mistakes. And that's what you want to get to. You want to get to the point where you know you're not stepping on legal landmines when you make a decision. And so that requires you to get that knowledge. So how do you do that? Again, it requires you to do some research. It requires you to figure some things out. The first thing you should do, if you haven't done it yet, there's a link in this post where you can grab a copy of my checklist. It's called the Online Entrepreneur's Ultimate Legal Checklist. Essentially what it is I kind of go through it and say, here are, and I think it's the six big issues that I think every online entrepreneur needs to consider at some point during their business. Now, it may be that some of them you don't have to worry too much. You can check off quickly, but these are areas where you need to think about and make reasoned decisions. And so the checklist goes through that, and then you have action items in each one. So the point is, this is going to get you started thinking about the issues you need to figure out. Now, you obviously know you're not going to be able to figure out everything you need from a checklist, but maybe it's going to raise a question, and then you go do some research, right? So from that checklist, you'll be able to figure out, I need to understand this issue better. I need to understand copyright law a little bit better, for example, or I need to understand trademark law so I understand a little bit more about can I use my name or not, or should I register my trademark? Again, you can start doing that research once you realize that's an issue, once you realize those are questions you need to be asking. So the point of the checklist is to get you asking those questions and understanding what you need to be doing. Once you get that, the next step, again, kind of go through it and start just systematically doing it. And what I'm going to tell you is one of the big tasks you're going to get is something along the lines of effectively you need to really make a list of all the agreements in your business and start putting written agreements in place. If you listen to me at any, for any period of time, you're going to hear me talk about that over and over and over again. So the checklist is going to give you kind of things you have to do, and you can systematically go through and get yourself to the point that you know what you need to do and you can actually start taking those steps. So that's my call to action today. Go ahead and grab that checklist. The link is in the post, but otherwise I believe it's forms.youronlinegenius.com/legal checklist. You go there, you can download a copy of it, and you will be on your way to getting your business protected. So that's it for today. Probably not going to come live tomorrow, I might, but otherwise have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.